I don't mind the really like rogue start that we have. You know how like we're still like check. We're rolling
It's
into
probably
it.
not going to be like that most of the time, but I think it'll always be just a random cut of a conversation that we had prior.
I like it. It makes it feel really natural. Like this. What?
Dos, back again, episode 3. Who would have thought we would make it this far? And with the reception we've had from everyone that's been listening and just sending in all that fan mail and all that kind of stuff. It's been a huge response, hasn't it, mate?
I'm amazed. The budget has got us this far through. To be fair, I didn't think we'd be able to afford it, but no, everybody's getting around it.
But in all seriousness, I got a pretty stern message from Mum, which I think she's still one of the 3 listeners we've got. She's not really impressed, so I reckon we just carry on. She probably won't listen to any more from here on out.
Yeah, well, my mum wants to pull her investment. She's like, no.
But she was supposed to be today's mystery guest, and she's pulling out of the investment.
Yeah, no Mama Slater today, sadly.
Ah, damn.
Yeah.
Well, Dos, hopefully you've got some good news for what's been happening in your life this week.
Oh, right. I better start us off strong. So, back in lockdown, living the dream, I guess, that lockdown dream. So, I'm going to put this out there. I'm restricted on my story capabilities, but I did get a big lesson in life this week. From
really, Dos?
Yeah, so I'm kind of seeing this bird at the moment, and then we had a discussion, and on one day, and she was just like a bit worried things were going a bit fast, and I was like, it's all right, sweet, yeah, no worries, I can deal with that. So I was like, you know what? Let's see, like I'll give her a couple of days off, kind of thing, see.
Let's slow things down drastically.
I was like, let's go for the old-fashioned silent treatment. let's see how this goes. And I can confirm it didn't go well. There was a bit of groveling going on a few days after. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So lesson learned. It's not a good way.
Has silent treatment served you well in the past, though? I mean, fair to say. Hopefully she's not listening to this and she gets too carried away. But this one strikes me as being a little bit, a little bit more serious than the usual.
Well, to be fair, that's the thing, because usually, like, the ghosting treatment works. So,
right.
I was just kind of bringing in that philosophy, and it doesn't really co-align. So there you go.
All right.
I've already given out a bit of free guide advice.
There you go. Spitting some game. Silent treatment, and doesn't really work when it's a little bit more serious than just a one-night stand, by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Dos, that's helpful advice. I'll take that on myself. But as far as what's been going on in my life, mate, the Olympics, just reliving some of the moments of the Olympics, some of the great moments, possibly one of the great Olympics for Australia ever. I don't want to get too carried away with it. We've all heard about just how good Australia is, really punching above our weight. Per capita, probably the most athletic and dominant country in the world. I think that's actually
factually
accurate
true,
to say. Factually true. Speaking of other things that are factually true, I'm a bit of a keen runner, Dos. I like to get out there and one foot in front of the other and really just exercise as a sport, which has brought me countless hours of joy across my life. I'd pretty much given up on going pro until I saw the women's marathon, mate. Marathon's my distance. And I saw Sinead Diver. Did you hear about Sinead Diver, Dos?
Is she the mum?
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah, and then...
Wow, nice, Dos. I'm impressed.
What do you mean?
I was really hoping you'd set me up. I just thought you'd set me up for, being like, let me explain about it. Well, you seem to know pretty well. But anyway,
mum, she had
for
a
those
kid,
listening that
and then
don't
she
know...
wanted to lose a bit of weight, and then so she just started running?
She started running at 33 years old. At 33 years old. Absolutely ridiculous. She came in the top 10 of the Olympics. So she was in the top 10 fastest marathon runners in the women in the entire world after 11 years of training, 44 years old.
Wait, what?
Mate,
I didn't know she was 44.
44 years old. She crossed the line in 2 hours, 31 minutes and 14 seconds. Mate, I'm going for a 2 hour 48, and I probably won't even get that in Melbourne. And this woman who started at 33, after having this mother, I should say, came through and absolutely smoked it. Incredible. 44 years old, top 10 fastest marathon runners in the world right now. So essentially, Dos, I'm going to call it right here. And I think in when the 2032 Brisbane Olympics come around, and I'm, what's that? Just over 11 years, I'll be 38. When I'm 38 years old and we're up to episode 8 trillion of this podcast, and
Still going strong.
we can't leave the house because we're so famous, that kind of stuff. I'll be in the Olympics, and we'll grab this moment. We'll capture this little moment snippet here, and Channel 7, ABC, Channel 10, everyone will be replaying it. They'll be like, he called it when he was 27. He knew that when he'd be 38, he would be running with the men at the 2032 Brisbane Olympics. There's a little bit of inspo for you.
Big call, but that's what the road guide's here for. We're here to make the big calls. I am curious though. So is this decision more based on you being impressed by her feat, or are you more impressed that she's more your type of woman in regards to being a MILF and in her mid 40s?
Hey, I mean, all of the above. I think she's impressive in every aspect, and I definitely look up to her. And when I come in the top 10, or even when I finish in the Olympics, I will say, I like to thank my coach, my mum, my dad, family, friends, blah, blah, blah. I might even give the road guide a shout out.
You better.
Just as a little nuggie. But I will say that my biggest inspiration will actually be Sinead Diver, the Irish Australian. I swear, that's going to be the case. Mark my words, mate. You heard it here first.
Fair enough. No, I respect that. That's a big call. I like it. But I guess after that, the Olympics chat, I feel like it's only fair that we move straight into our main topic of today, which is brunch.
The Rogue Guide to Brunch, Dos.
That is it. Because brunch is the most important meal of the weekend. When you combine coffee and bacon and eggs, it's a dream duo.
Yeah, mate. I've got to admit, I had to do some soul searching when this came up as a potential topic. We wanted to sort of break things up a bit, not just give people guides, the stuff that maybe they've heard before, but also some of the finer aspects of life. And brunch is definitely one of those. But the problem with brunch for me is that it's such a fine aspect of life. It's nearly inaccessible here in the Outback. We only just got a proper breakfast joint in Longreach. This is a really city slicker type segment, so you're gonna have to carry it. That being said,
if it helps, I've been carrying most segments, so I'm getting pretty used to it.
Mate, we have all the evidence on tape to know that is absolutely, profoundly not the case. But I'm gonna let you have it, because I like having you around and I can't do this myself. But it turns out that after talking with you, I said to you, mate, this is some latte sipper, bloody Melbourne hipster, whatever, aristocrat bloody topic that most people can't relate to. You opened my eyes. It turns out that every Saturday I do go and have brunch. So I've got to say, I'm here for it. I'm going to give it my best shot using my limited expertise to provide some questionable advice. And hey, that's what we're here for, right?
Questionable advice is literally the foundation of this potty. That's what we're here for. And I reckon, you've got a good step one for us.
Yeah, I reckon I'm going to get things rolling with something we can all relate to, and that is being hungover. So step one, it's great for being hungover. In fact, I would say it is potentially one of the core meals for being hungover. The first thing you look forward to when you wake up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, it's brunch. You want to get something light. You want to get something where you can go out and maybe debrief and recap on what happened the night before, because that's also a lot of fun. Everyone else is really haggard and you get stuff across. That being said, I remember having that exact experience. I remember having a big feed. I was sitting on a mattress in Victoria at your place. I don't know what I was eating. Was it pizza or something? I was eating with my hands. It was pretty gross. I woke up the next morning and I was rocked. I was completely shook. Because we live in separate parts of Australia, whenever we get together, you've sort of got to go for broke.
It's an occasion.
Make up for all that lost time.
Yeah.
it is an occasion. And I definitely think that night we lived up to it. That being said, you, like the hungover king that you are, managed to get up and start cooking up an amazing scrambled eggs and avo toast breakfast. And I just gotten into eating avocado and I was becoming a big fan. I was like, this is a superfood, you know, I can have it on anything. It's really good for you. Tom Brady has it as ice cream. You know, I'm going to work up towards that. This is awesome. Dos is cooking it up. I just have to sit down and eat it. That being said, in true DOS fashion, the serving size was huge, enormous.
The serving size was for a real man size, which I overestimated for yourself.
Look, my track record will not support me rebuking that, so I'll just let that one go through and move on. Essentially, I got through one and I was completely full, and there was another one there. And the serving, I've got to say, very, very hospitable and very generous of you. How much you cooked up? You definitely were sparing no expense for this brunch. That being said, I couldn't eat the whole thing, which is a recurring theme when we have dinners together and we have food together.
Don't even start.
And I forced myself to eat the other half of the avo and scrambled eggs toast. And I have not eaten avocado since because I felt crook for at least 24 hours. I was just completely full, stuffed. Maybe I should have followed my own advice and had a tack vom, but I was and I felt disappointed and disgusted at myself because it tasted great. You'd gone to effort. And yeah, I guess my key advice would be it's ideal for ideal for when you're hungover is brunch. But if you're too hungover, you got to pick your battles. You got to know your limits. Don't ruin yourself the day after. If you've managed to survive the night, do not ruin yourself at brunch the next day.
Yeah, fair. I think I guess that kind of mine correlates a little bit with step 2. It's very much what to order, which is the big decision of the day. It really sets you up for the day. And but I'll tell you what, one thing I've experienced in Melbourne that I just didn't expect. Like I recently got into Eggs Benedicts, and I was like, yeah, this is really fancy. Yeah, I'm all about this. You know, before that, I was just a big
cultured DOS.
Yeah, I was just a big English breakfast guy, like the simple shit. Yeah. And then I moved on to the Eggs Bennies. And now that I'm in Melbourne, I was like, hell yeah, I could be having them every weekend. Well, no. I've missed that window. Nowadays, the Eggs Benedicts don't really even exist anymore at most cafes here. And if they do, they're like really weird. They got pork and like apple on them and just like really random stuff you don't expect. And and then even that with the rest of the menu, it doesn't just stop there. Like if you find a menu that has some resemblance of an Eggs Benedict, that's a win. But for the most part, there's just the most random shit. Like I heard of waffles and bacon previously, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds alright. And I had
that's
it
actually
once,
pretty good,
and it is pretty yum.
Yeah.
And the other place I went to last week, it was fried chicken and waffles and maple syrup, and I was like, what?
Damn.
Like, that sounds great. I couldn't bring myself to eat it that day because I was trying to be healthy that day. But
oh, damn, that's a shame.
I wasn't hungover. That was probably the kicker. If I was hungover, I would have smashed it. But, like, it's just...
Yeah, for nothing like, honestly, fried chicken and being hungover.
What a
the greasiness.
Literally. But there's just the most random stuff they put... I can't even pronounce half the food they have on the menus. Like, I feel like I'm at an Italian restaurant, but it's literally all in English. And I'm like, what is this? Oh, when you're on a date and you want to like...
What is this spaghetti?
I was like, where's the spag bowl? And you try to, especially when you're on a brunch date, you try to impress so you don't want to get something too simple. And then you're like, oh, like this one. And you just get the most random stuff and you just got to cough it. So it's just...
And you also don't want to blatantly mispronounce the word and have them be like, oh, this savage, this common man, this savage pleb that, this uncultured swine can't even pronounce.
Exactly, because
bloody...
Yeah. Anywhere else,
ciabatta.
Hollandaise sauce?
Hollandaise
sauce. Can I get some Hollandaise sauce, please?
Yeah. No, you definitely got to know what to order. And even in my situation, I wish I could have maybe called it in advance to you and said just one, please. But One thing that ties into all of the above is you got to pay a bit too much, I think. Regardless of what you order, big or small, you need to pay a little extra. Do you want to know why? It's because
I do.
just like a wedding, you put wedding on something, it just gives them a license to charge you 18 times what it should cost. You want to go to this bloody mountaintop church chapel? You could go there any day of the week for free, but if you put wedding on it, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars. Brunch maybe won't set you back thousands, but you can easily find yourself going for like a ciabatta with a smear of avocado, just a smear, and maybe an egg that's cooked how you want it, if you're lucky, and definitely not bacon. And you'd be paying about $30, I reckon, easily. And they would have this. It would all be on one side of the plate. And this is another thing about brunch. It's all on one side of the plate, and then the other side of the plate just has a smear of like sauce or flavor, or maybe just some greens that you can't even eat. You know, like a decoration
bit of lemon juice.
Greens.
Yeah.
And it's like, how great would it have been if I paid $30 and this whole plate had food on it?
But that's the thing.
You didn't have to
like. I think the best part is like I find it, especially with lunch. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to pay. If I'm paying more than $12 for lunch, I'm a bit sus. I'm a bit disappointed in myself. I'm like, come on, man, that was silly.
Mate, the Outback tax will kill you when you come out here, dude.
But if it's brunch, if I'm paying less than $30, I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, it's so cheap. Like, I expect to be paid. And I think it's because it's 2 meals. It's breakfast and lunch. So, like, you're putting together the two $12 worth of each, plus a coffee, equates to be about $30.
So, Dos, you'll have brunch and you'll skip lunch?
Yes, definitely.
Interesting.
What do you mean? Why?
Very interesting. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
You just said in your first step, you had brunch and couldn't eat for days.
Yeah, and did that sound like a pleasant experience? Did that sound like I was?
It did for your bank account.
Suggesting. Oh yeah, I mean definitely, it was very good.
You students out there are bloody taking notes.
Yeah, they're like, all right, 2 slices of avocado toast loaded up with bloody scrambled eggs. After a hangover, I don't have to eat for a few days. I'm sorted. Yeah, that checks out. That definitely checks out. But mate, no, I find that you're paying $30 and you're getting something that will only just tide you over till maybe midday, maybe 1 o'clock. I generally don't find that brunch means I'm skipping lunch. I find that it's just a very light precursor to lunch. I'd have a heavier breakfast and then a small brunch. I won't have lunch. But if I skip breakfast, I'll have a small brunch and I'll have lunch on top.
Well, here's one for you. And this is where I'm going to roll into step 4. What about a bottomless brunch?
Oh, what, dude?
So this is the next level. This is the game changer that's been quite recent, especially in Australia. From my experience in the UK, it's very common, the old bottomless brunch. And it's actually...
We haven't even heard of it out west, so...
The fact it's just hit Melbourne now, which means that...
Okay, so in like 10 years' time, we might hear about bottomless brunch.
You might be able to experience 1 or 2. But the benefit is, do you know, like, we talk about it being an expensive brunch, because it is, about $30, but bottomless brunches are cheap. And so bottomless brunches are free alcohol for that 2-hour window or 90-minute window.
Wait.
And they're usually about $50 or $60. So, yeah, man, it's like,
what? You said alcohol?
Yeah. Bottomless mimosas, bottomless beer, cider, wine, most of it's incorporated. Some places even have cocktails. And it's free for the whole 2 hours that you're there. You have to eat a brunch. That's one of the rules. But it's dangerous. It's so dangerous, but it's so good because it's day drinking. It's just
that's
non-stop
like morning drinking. That's really kicking it off.
Yeah, which is it's a good Sunday thing, especially after a big day. You just roll straight into a bottomless brunch. That actually sounds awesome. And it's just game on,
mate. When I'm in Melbourne, you need to show me one of these bottomless brunch places because
definitely.
I'm up for that, dude.
I live about 100 meters away from one, and I just keep looking at it.
Of course you do, dude. Of course you do. I live about 3,000 kilometers away from one, so yeah. I'll take advantage of that for sure. Wow, bottomless brunch, that's brilliant. And I tell you what, nothing would make that bottomless brunch with those bottomless mimosas, cocktails, whatever, more satisfying. And it's a bit cheesy. It's not a super rogue piece of advice, but I would suggest that step 5 is the crew. I'm sorry, I've got to be a bit cliche, a bit corny, a bit cheesy here, but
That's what you're on the show for.
That's my lane. I'm definitely sticking to my lane here. Feel free to rebuke me on this, Dos, but after every Saturday morning, pretty much, that I'm in Longreach, we'll go and do parkrun. And it's a crew of maybe 10 or so of us that go and do parkrun. Get up at 7 o'clock, run 5Ks. We'll chat afterwards, cheer other people on.
Isn't that the whole town?
But
You're telling me the town is unattended while this parkrun is going on?
Yeah, you'll have a bottomless brunch by hitting up one of the cafes and just pouring drinks over the counter.
just walking to the pub.
What was he talking about? There's bottomless brunches out here. No, then we'll all go back to the new place that's opened up, pretty much, that does a brunch, breakfast, lunch, brunch type of meal. And then we'll be joined by maybe 5 or 10 other people. We'll load up the entire front of the cafe. And I tell you what, it is absolutely awesome. It is so good, man. So good. Just to catch up with all your mates, all your friends, some people you don't know, some people you haven't seen in a while. Have some brunch, blah, blah, blah. They have coffee. I'll have my hot chocolate or milkshake because I'm not a coffee drinking pleb.
Because you're not an adult.
Just, kick off the weekend just like that, dude.
Yeah.
It's the best way to get things
It's
rolling.
the vibes. The vibes of a brunch are just hard to compete with. And like my favorite thing in that regards is that it's such a good mix of like your friends, because most of my brunches are usually Sunday mornings, and they're usually with like my crew, but like I go out, say, with the footy boys, but I'll go to brunch with like my uni crew. And so some of them are morning people, and so they'll come along. They're all fresh. They've been up for hours. This is like their third coffee. And then they'll be like me, and then there'll be like the one mate that like I dragged in that's picked me up from some random house and is just driven straight to brunch. So I'm still in my going out gear, and like, yeah, I caught flack for that for the first 10 minutes, but like after that, it's just like you get such a good mix of the people.
Yeah.
And that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, you make plans. I mean, even though your brunches typically sound like they happen on a Sunday, mine happen on a Saturday, and you know what everyone's doing, you know where everyone's going, everyone at the table gets an invite. It's just, then the weekend starts off right. And you know what? After talking a little bit of smack on brunch, I have got to say, it is most certainly the most essential meal of the weekend.
Yeah.
No question.
The highlight of the social calendar.
So there you go. That's the road guide to brunch. Just one of the, curveball topics we'll cover here. It's not just all the basic stuff. Sometimes it's the very basic stuff. And Dos definitely coming through with a very basic suggestion on this that maybe you haven't put too much thought into, and it definitely is worth exploring. So Dos, thanks for being your basic self and delivering on this podcast.
Well, there's another aspect of the brunch that I wouldn't mind. We'll get to, but it kind of leads us into our mystery guest, which is my beloved friend, Justine Kane, and who's recently become, Prosser's friend as well. So, I'd like to welcome on the show, Juzzy.
What's up, boys? How you going?
Before we jump into your story about brunch, can you tell us a little bit about yourself so that the folks at home can get to know who Juzzy C is?
Okay, well, I am a teacher from Melbourne, and I like to do a lot of different things.
Hello, Juzzy's principal, if he's listening to this.
This is where you cut off?
Please don't. I like to change that. I like to call myself a jack of all trades, but a master of none. So that's everything
Classic.
that people need to know about me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very,
Everyone's been very vague with their descriptions
and
of
very
themselves.
proper
I'm not sure if
as
it's...
well. I'm like, people are going to think that
Do people know who they are?
People are going to think we have very serious friends. Like, we are degenerate.
I wouldn't say I'm serious. Hayden definitely brings out the less serious side of myself.
Now, Juzzy, actually, I can't really talk because I'm definitely wearing my my most formal and mature shoes whenever I'm on this podcast, because I also have a job. that requires me to not be an absolute degenerate. But that's why we have Dos here. He gets to, satisfy that part of our mentalities. But that being said, you have a story to tell us this morning about brunch, I do believe.
Yes. Well, it's loosely related to brunch, but I think it's good enough to share, and I think the whole world should know it.
Wow. Just humbly, I think the whole world should.
Yes. Well, the story is related.
There's no one
to
listens to this.
The whole one person in the world should know it.
Yeah. Shout out to Pros's mum.
My mum. Thanks, Mum.
No, well, this story is related to our favourite Hayden Slater.
Oh.
And I might stitch him up here a little bit, but I hope that I can tell the story as truthfully as possible.
No, don't let the truth ruin it.
No, I'm totally
Frost has
embellishing
been making
everything.
up his weekly updates for weeks, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
This story didn't happen. Disclaimer. No. So this story begins on the 27th of December 2020 when I and a lot of our other friends were flying up to Noosa to spend New Year's all together.
God's country.
I was so excited, and I think the rest of us were always also pretty excited to leave the state that is Victoria.
Yes, everyone would rather be in Queensland.
Yeah. So I decided to fly up a couple days early, and I'd loosely organised with Hayden, that he would pick me up from the airport in Brisbane.
Loosely.
Oh, no. No.
Which is 2 hours away from Noosa, which is where
And
I was.
in my defense, I wasn't supposed to be going up to visit him early. I was supposed to be visiting another mate. However, he got put into lockdown in New South Wales, so we had to cancel that trip. But I'd already booked my flights. So I was like, hey, change of plan, Hayden, can you pick me up from Brisbane Airport on the 27th? And then we could spend a couple of days together in Noosa setting up for the party that Hayden was going to have when all his friends got up on like the 29th or something. So Hayden had said, I actually still have the messages, which still cracks me up. But Hayden had said...
Oh, receipts. Spill the tea, sis.
Hayden had said that, yeah, like, it's all good, I'll sort it out. And I was like, okay, cool, all right. So I'm flying in at this time. Please be there.
This is the day after Boxing Day too, but
yes.
mind you, just in case people aren't aware of dates. But Boxing Day is a great day to go out.
You're getting really defensive. I mean, you're getting defensive. I'm sure you went and picked her up just like she expected.
Yeah,
Carry on,
he is a
Joseph.
gentleman, and he picked me up. No, so I pack everything up the night before, and I have to get up at like 5 a.m. to catch must have been a 7 a.m. flight or an 8 a.m. flight. No, that's a lie. It was a 7 a.m. flight from Melbourne Airport to Brisbane Airport. And so I opened my phone at 5 a.m. and I have a message from Hayden saying, oh my God, I have to find it. saying home, please. And I'm like, oh no. Okay, the only time Hayden will message me at 5 a.m. is if he's drunk. And
you've just woken up, your day's just begun.
And I was like, oh God. And he'd messaged me at like 4:15 a.m. And I was like, okay, so that means it's 3 a.m. No. Which way does
just
the
trying to
time
keep
zone go?
updating you. Yeah, that's right.
So they're an hour behind. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it would have been 3 a.m. in Mooloolaba or wherever the heck you were. And so I'm like, oh my God. So I messaged back as soon as I woke up and I was like, are you okay? Did you make it home? And I got no response. And I was like, shit.
Oh.
Is this going to happen? And I was like thinking, okay, all right, I'm going to make it to the airport and I'll just worry about it there. And I had a business class flight, so I was like, cool, I'm going to chill in the lounge.
Oh.
I'm going to sort it out. Like,
That's a flex.
Our listeners are not feeling sorry for you. That's all I'm saying.
This is the 1% that's doing this.
Well,
here.
I am never going to...
Let's hope she gets what's coming to her.
I'm never going to fly business class again because it was a terrible experience. Thank you, Hayden. So I get to the airport and Hayden finally responds and he's like, come coastal. Come coastal, safe place. And I'm like, what the heck is he talking about? And I was like, Hayden, are you going to be okay to pick me up from the airport? And he's like, yeah, we'll be sweet. I'm just going to go Kraz for 25. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what the hell is he talking about?
Oh no.
So finally I get like to where I'm waiting for my flight and I give him a call and I was like, Hayden, and he is drunk as heck. Like I haven't heard him talk like this for a very long time. And he on the phone call he's like, I'm just gonna go get some fish and chips. And I'm like, Hayden, it's 6 a.m. in Queensland.
Oh no.
Hayden, it's 6 a.m. You can't get fish and chips, like nothing's gonna be open. He's like, it's fine, I'll walk.
Whoa. You underestimate Queensland. Everything's open at 5 a.m. in Queensland.
Sorry, I'm not a local, so my bad. And then he's like, I've just been sitting in the street and I'm just gonna join a gang. And I'm like, oh my God. Hayden, where are you? Like,
no.
Do you need me to come and get you? So I finished the call with, I fly in 2 hours. Will you be okay to pick me up? Like, I'm going to call you when I land. And that's the last I heard from him. So I fly into Brisbane and I'm standing at the airport and I have no backup plan. So what would you guys have done?
I'd put faith in me.
Dust, that's exactly where Juzzy is, dude. She put faith in you. You can't give her the advice that she already took.
To be fair, I feel like, mate, I'd be coming up with backup plans. I'd just be, I don't know, I'd probably go into the city in Brisbane, maybe go watch a movie or something. I don't know, if I landed and hadn't heard from someone that was meant to pick me up, and the last I heard from them was when they were super drunk, well then, I'm going to assume they're not coming. That's a safe bet. And if they are coming, I don't want them coming if they're drunk, because then they're going to be driving, which is ridiculously unsafe.
Yes.
So that's probably, I'd kill time in the city.
I'm really interested to hear what you actually did, Juzzy, because in that situation where I've completely lost contact with someone, I mean, I'm probably waiting at the airport and rolling the dice on whether or not their phone ran out of battery or something, or maybe they're driving to pick me up and they haven't had time to answer. I don't know. I reckon I might be chilling at the airport. Not that I've got anything against going into town, into the city. That sounds like a great idea. But then I'd worry that I've, separated myself from this person that doesn't have any way of contacting me, and then I'll never get to the coast where I really want to be. So I'd probably be chilling at the airport. I'd find myself a place to plug in my iPhone charger, and I'd just be watching YouTube or watching Netflix or whatever for the next 3 hours. I'm presuming that you didn't have to wait any more than 3 hours, but let's find out what exactly happened when Dos stood you up at the airport.
So thankfully, I did have a backup plan, and my backup plan was Briley, one of my very good mates who lives in Queensland, in Ipswich.
Shout out to Riley, fan of the show. Actually.
Yeah, I've heard.
Riley,
yes,
thank you for
Riley. Briley has now become a backup plan for everything. If something goes wrong, call Briley; she'll fix it. So what happened was I called Briley or I texted her when I got to the airport and I realised that Hayden was lit. And she was like, okay, well, I'm in Noosa.
Shout out to Noosa.
Just let me know. Call me.
Shout out to Noosa. Everyone there is a fan of the show.
And Noosa is about 2 hours from Brisbane, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Yeah. So I had called her and she was like, look, worst case scenario, I'll come get you from Brisbane. And I was like, cool, but call me when you land. So I rang her and she was like, okay, all right, well, he's not going to come pick you up. She was also very, very mad, along with her mum and her grandma.
Which is just unnecessary. Like, people, too much toxicity, just chill out. Life's going to be fine. No one died.
So thankfully I did actually know Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast area well enough to know how to get from point A to point B. But she suggested that I either hire a car and get up to Noosa, or I train and she'll pick me up from the train station. So we decided that we would catch the train. So I was going to meet her at Yamundi, and she would pick me up from there. However, the issue that I then encountered was that it was going to be a 2-hour wait at the train station for like a regional train to Noosa or to Yamundi.
Only 2 a day.
So
Regional transport vibes.
Yeah, peace out. We love it. Sounds like Metro. No, so I then trained to Caboolture, and she picked me up from there, and I made it to Noosa. However, Briley and her grandmother and her mum insisted that I stay with them that night, and Hayden pick me up in the morning
Really?
from their place. Yeah.
Which suited me because I was hungover as well.
Okay, all right.
And I didn't hear from Hayden until about 2 p.m. that day, and he was like, I made it home.
Because I didn't get
He
home.
did not make it home. He made it back.
Well, to a friend's house.
No, he made it back to your place, Pross.
Yeah. 'Cause my phone died. I slept at the beach, and then I walked around for a bit, and then I realised you guys weren't coming to pick me up, and then so I caught a dead. I had to go one of those taxi stops. Thank God they still exist, and then just waited for a taxi, and then I got a taxi out to where we were staying, which was like $50, but. Yeah, I got there, and it was after midday. Yeah, it was literally 1 o'clock.
The point is that Hayden didn't pick me up from the airport and didn't get home to his place until 7 p.m. that night. What would I have done? Just waited at the train station for him to come pick me up?
But you know how we sorted it.
I think after a necessary amount of time, you definitely made the right call early, but after a certain period of time, dipping was just the absolute only way to go.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have hitchhiked all the way to Noosa.
But do you know how
all the way to
I made it
Korea.
up? I made it up to Jesse. I bought her brunch, and that
Straight
is
up.
the moral of
And
this
it's come
story.
full circle.
Yeah. But that
It is
the
truly
next day,
the most important meal of the day.
Rebuilding friendship.
the next day, Hayden picks me up and he buys me food for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And that made me happy. So
Aww.
we have no issues.
Easy as that. Brunch.
But I won't ever
That's-
ask him to pick me up from anywhere again.
No, and that brunch was expensive, so. Yeah.
Well, Juzzy, thank you so much for coming on and sharing that eventually brunch-related story. It was great to take a trip down memory lane. What a classic weekend that was, by the way. But good to hear that you eventually made it to the promised land that is Koran.
Thanks. Thanks for having me, guys.
There you go, Dos. Juzzy C there with a classic story, really, from the good old days. One of the great New Year's Eve parties and celebrations of all time, I would say, definitely of our lives in Koran. And didn't start off too well for her, but clearly it sounded like brunch mended all the wounds, and life has gone on since.
Brunch is the cure. If someone just gives brunch to Corona, we could be set. They could be satisfied.
Yeah, boy. That's all Corona needs is a little brunch notification.
Someone needs to take them out for
It's
brunch.
all sorted.
That's
And
secret.
why wouldn't we be feeling yourselves? Because we've been following the road guide our entire lives, and now we're spitting those gems of wisdom to everyone that's listening. Quite frankly, millions of listeners all across the world, texting in, calling in. You know where to find us. Get in the DMs on Instagram. Message us. I don't know, Dos is more savvy with this podcast stuff, but I presume there's somewhere else that people can get in touch with us, Dos.
We got an email for the elder listeners.
Our demographic, you mean?
Yeah. Other than that, it's on Instagram, or if you're lucky enough, you might bump into one of us on Tinder or Hinge, and give us a like, and we'll give you a link, a link to the potty.
Yeah, always promoting. And I guess on that note, stick around. Next week, another thrilling installment of The Road Guide, giving you all the awful advice, perhaps, that you need to make the right decisions, for better or for worse. Dos, pleasure joining you this afternoon.
Anytime, mate. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The Road Guide. We got you covered.